Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the July Committee, the Capital Program Oversight Committee. The minutes have been distributed for review. I have a motion to approve them. Second. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Committee work plan, Mr. Stewart.
There is one change to the work plan for the September CPOC meeting. We've added the IEC presentation regarding the investigation of water leaks at 34th Street Hudson Yards Station. Also, there's a 2nd Avenue walk-in. I think that it's been distributed already, and I think your books have been updated. The electronic version is already added to it. And Mike, you want to talk about what was missing?
There's just one note. The IEC report covering New York City transit signals and train control in Director's Desk, on the web, and in today's presentation are complete. However, the printed books are missing some pages, and so a complete printed version has been distributed. It will also be necessary for you to re-download on Director's Desk in order to have the complete version of today's presentations.
I'd like to add the reason for the presentation being moved to September. The subject matter expert we have on waterproofing was not available, and I think it's very important for the committee to be able to hear from him and ask whatever questions you might have. So that was why we rolled over to September. First presentation up is the Capital Program Overview for New York City Transit. John O'Grady, the Chief Capital Program Officer, will deliver it.
Good afternoon, all. I'm going to just give you an overview of the overall capital program. My name is John O'Grady, and I'm the Senior Vice President of Capital Program Management. So this is a pie chart of the overall capital program. $15.8 billion is New York City Transit's portion of the MTA capital program, and it totals some $15.8 billion. As you can see, it is spread across numerous categories of investment. For the benefit of discussion today, the area shaded in gray, cars, tracks, and buses. I'm really not going to get into great detail on them as they're kind of managed outside of my area's responsibility. We overlap with it quite a bit, and we'll talk about it somewhat, but in the focus of my area is 4 major management areas. They are stations, which represent about 18% of the program, some $2.8 billion. Signals, which represents about 14% of the overall 15.8, about $2.1 billion. Then you see shops, yards, depots, structures, power, line equipment. That's all lumped into one area called infrastructure and facilities. That represents about $3.4 billion of the 15.8. And then the 4th area that I manage is communications and systems. That's about $600 million of the capital program. So we're going to focus our discussion on those 4 areas, and with that is a 5th area, the Sandy work, which will also be merged into this overall capital program discussion. During the course of the year, CPOC often hears from the different areas. As an example, we'll be hearing today on signals from Nadish Patel. So that part is, during the course of the year, we have different parts of the program that get reported on separately. This is the only time we really talk about the totality of the program. Next slide. We've been given a unique challenge, a great challenge, one that I think anybody that's in the field of engineering, construction, or capital program management would love to have the ability to have to spend $15.8 billion over the next 3.5 years, all while running and maintaining and operating railroad. So this chart here, this different representation of the capital program starts to show you the overall challenge in a different manner. It starts to break it out into right-of-way work and non-right-of-way work. Obviously, the right-of-way work is the work that potentially has an impact on the different operations of the railroad. So there's a big focus on making sure as we roll out the program that we do it in a very, very strategic manner, very well coordinated manner, one that does everything possible to minimize the impact to the riding public. So of the 15.8, some $7.6 billion is right-of-way work, and that includes the in-house track work that you saw on the preceding page. So as we go about planning or figuring out which projects we're going to award when, we will take a look at those the right-of-way needs or the needs of those projects for outages and how we can best manage it and spread that work out over the course of the next 3.5 years. A major commitments follows chart. It starts to show you the typical projects that we will have. Obviously, as I said before, signal work is a big part of it. So you see in this chart CBTC, you'll see CBTC 8th Avenue, you'll see CBTC Culver, 2 interlockings at 30th and 42nd Street. That's the kind of work that Nadish is going to be reporting on today, and there'll be follow-up reports as these projects are under design and in construction under his purview. There are other things such as new fare payment, Jamaica, new bus depot. Okay, this starts to give you just a flavor of the types of projects that are in the program. The largest ones, the ones we're going to have to spend a significant amount of time on, and what their budget is and when they will be awarded. Next slide. Adding to it is the overall need to maintain the Sandy funding commitments, or funding expenditure commitments. We have some $3.4 billion worth of Sandy funding remaining to be awarded. Of that, about $1.6 billion is right-of-way intensive. So again, over the course of planning the core program, we have to integrate that with the needs of the Sandy projects and their outages that they will need. So it becomes a very, very intense exercise to try to make sure that we can accommodate all of this work while at the same time maintaining service.
Could I ask a question? Is there a finite date beyond which you can't get Sandy money anymore? Or once you've signed up for it, it's forthcoming depending on whenever you start that particular project?
Craig will answer.
There's no more Sandy money to be had. The allocations have been made, and so they're not allocating any more. They made their last allocation about 3 weeks ago with repair money, which we received about $430 million.
Affect projects that are Sandy related but haven't commenced yet?
It doesn't. We have the funding.
You have the funding?
Yes, and we can go forward with it.
For all of our Sandy related issues coming up?
For what we got from the federal government. It doesn't cover all of the Sandy projects, but it covers the ones that he's talking about today.
So, but as we've discussed in the past, that's important for us to make those contract awards, because that's another way of, I want to say locking up the money, but it's hard to come back from that point. If there's a change in administration, there's always a case that money could be at risk. So the idea that we've had on the table is to get as many of those contracts awarded before the end of this calendar year.
So even if we had an endless time frame on it, the goal is to award them as soon as possible to protect the system, and also then to make sure we get to fully utilize the money. So rolling out towards the end of this year, we're going to begin an effort to award a significant number of Sandy projects. We're actually hoping between the end of this year and the first quarter of 17 to award some $2.4 billion of the $3.4 billion of remaining Sandy money. This slide shows the Sandy commitments that are actually pending and out there. We have projects for the several different yards in the program: Coney Island Yard, 207th Street Yard, 148th Street Yard. We have projects, obviously, we've heard about this morning, and you'll see a few photos here of the Canarsie 2 project. We have a project in procurement currently for the Clifton Shop in Staten Island. Clark Street Tube, we actually took bids on, and that's pending award. And then there are what I'll call the simpler projects, the street-level hardening projects. So there's a holistic approach to taking on the Sandy work and getting these projects awarded.
John, I know you're going to do the Rutgers Tube at some point, but I don't see it listed anywhere.
Yeah, the Rutgers, it's just not listed as one of the first, the high $10, the high dollar commitments, but yes, the Rutgers Tube will be coming up as well. After Canarsie. Next slide basically starts to show us the projects that actually start to become the building blocks for the program. So I know we've made the decision on the 1-track versus the 2-track, so this chart actually starts to help us to explain why that becomes so important to have made that decision. Because the outages on that line actually start to drive the outages for other types of projects. So as an example, if we had gone with the 36-month project, we would not have other projects around the system awarded for a longer period of time. So making that decision actually allows us to start to plan for the totality of the program dollars and allows us to make very, very strategic decisions. Next slide. So I'm going to repeat here a little bit about the Canarsie, but just because it winds up being, number one, the story of the moment, but also number two, the probably the largest project that New York City Transit will be undertaking for some time. The Canarsie tunnels did suffer some extensive damage. These photos kind of start to show you pretty graphic details, some of the damage that occurred. So the duct bank was, which we all saw the video of earlier this morning at Transit Committee, was significantly damaged. We have exposed cables. We have secured the duct bank to the extent possible. That's the upper left-hand photo. And the duct bank continues to be monitored such that any spalling or shedding of the duct bank encasement onto the tracks below is something that is monitored very carefully. Additionally, we've talked about all the damage that occurred to the electrical system. So I'm now referring to the middle photograph on the top, and that's the damaged circuit breakers. That's just shows the type of damage that the salt water can do in a very, very short period of time. This is a photo of the damage shortly after the storm. This is not an age-progressed photo. Damaged manholes and cables in the upper right. Can't say it enough about how badly damaged this under-river tube was, but all the facilities, we've gone in and done temporary repairs, and that's the bottom left-hand photo. But even with that, there are still areas when you go through that you can see here, there's significant cracking of the duct bank. That's the lower middle photo, and the duct bank continues to show that damage. So this project, getting this project awarded, winds up being a priority in the program. The track part of it will not start until 2019, and that's because there's street-level work that has to occur in 2017 and 2018 to prepare for the actual track outages beginning in 2019. Canarsie is in of itself a program of projects. It is a combination of a number of different initiatives. It is the under-river damage resulting from Sandy. It is the hardening of that facility so that no water can flood into there again. That's the North 7th Street shaft, as well as the Avenue D shaft. It is the addition of new substations, 2 new substations that will allow for additional throughput of additional train capacity. It is ADA and stair capacity at Bedford Avenue Station as well as at First Avenue Station. So it winds up being a roll-up of a number of different efforts all into one project, and all done in a manner that does not extend the outage duration at all. We're going to replace, the next slide, we're going to replace some 7 miles of duct bank. So there's a duct bank on both sides of each tube, so there's a total of 4 lengths of duct bank, totaling some 7 miles that have to be demolished and replaced. There's some 56 miles of cable work. These are not small cables. This is very heavy-duty cable to pull and put into service. We have some close to 3 miles of track to rebuild. The track is going through an exaggerated deterioration that causes us again to monitor it and make sure that it's safe, but we're going to go in and replace it completely with this project. We're going to be building 2 new circuit breakers houses, 2 new repairing the fan plants, rehabbing the pump room, etc. So a complete redo of the systems necessary to provide for safe operation through the Canarsie tube on a long-term basis. So that's Canarsie's $1 billion of the total $13.5 billion that capital program management, New York City Transit Capital Program Management is going to have to deliver over the next 3.5 years. But in order to deliver the rest of the program, we have to look at both the internal resources necessary, that is internal design and construction staff, as well as support staff. And we also then have to rely heavily on the consulting community for design support, and construction management support. We call it CCM, Consulting Construction Management. We have been building on that for the last few years, and we're going to need to continue to build that in order to have the necessary support from outside in order to develop and progress this program. I talked a little bit about the track access planning and the need to optimize the right-of-way access such that we minimize the impact to the riding public, that we will continue to develop and continue to streamline. We need to work closely with the community and our customers through the construction process, and we have to embrace alternative contracting mechanisms such as design build. We have avoided design build for right-of-way type of projects for quite some time because it's not the kind of project that necessarily lends itself to design-build strategy. However, as an example, we are going to be trying it or managing the Clifton Shop project as a design-build where there is right-of-way interface. There are many other design-build projects that we're going to be doing, but I'm just trying to give examples of the projects that we have. Finally, there are some issues that have been talked about lately in the media. That's the enhanced subway stations, so the 31 station enhanced station renewal program spread across 5 boroughs. That's the next slide. In these station projects, we've actually taken the time over the last 6 months to fully update the station design guidelines. We have embraced the challenge presented through the governor's office to think of a different way of going about doing our station work, where we've looked at those guidelines. The guidelines were done back in the back in the late 80s, and now they've actually been constantly updated during time since then, but now we've actually done a complete holistic review and reconstruction of those guidelines. The guidelines see several significant opportunities, some of which have been brought about by the advancing of technology. Lighting is much, much more advanced now than it was back when the guidelines were first developed. So we're going to enhance lighting through the stations. We're going to create welcoming zones as you progress through the station so that it becomes intuitive, your way into the station, your way through the station, not just with lighting, but also with improved signage. We're going to be including amenities that we don't have currently, such as countdown clocks, cellular connectivity, and Wi-Fi. There also will be in this program the use of art to enhance these stations. The work will be done while respecting and maintaining the architectural legacy of each of the stations that we go along. So that's just a synopsis of the kind of work that we're going to be doing on these, and as part of this enhanced station effort. Similarly, for subway cars or rolling stock procurement, you're going to see a different vision for those stations, for these amenities. We're going to have the open car end design to improve passenger flow and hopefully improve the capacity for up to 700, and we're going to be doing that across 750 cars. They're going to be widening the doors. They're going to be also providing customer amenities and security such as Wi-Fi, USB chargers, information displays, and security cameras. The exterior features include new color scheme, LED headlights, and a new window design. So these are the kind of projects and programs that are underway within the $15.8 billion of the 2015 to 19 capital program. Thank you.
How were the 31 enhanced stations chosen?
They were chosen from within the program proposal. Within the program proposal, there was a number of stations that they were chosen from the overall capital program proposal had already been made when this challenge was brought to us. So we worked with stations that were already in the program proposal. Some of them were in as formal renewals, some of them on the Astoria line were actually going to be getting renewals, and some of them were in as component projects where we were going in and doing certain levels of component repair. So we took those stations and we took a look at them, and we're just elevating the aesthetic treatment they're getting to enhance station renewal. So they were in the program already.
But we tried to get a balance of, in the past we'd gone to high volume stations, but in this particular case, we needed to take another look at it with respect to geographical distribution. So there was no one, if you look at it through a number of different prisms, it's volume, it's condition, it's geographical representation, so that we try to get these 31 stations across the entire system. Carl?
I'm looking at it, and can people fall out of there?
No, I don't. I think the term open end it really shouldn't refer to the fact that it's going to be, there won't be a closure on the. It'll be formally closed. It's not like there's an open end to the train.
Okay, because this picture here shows just some ropes.
From car to car, you're going to have the ability to move from car to car. The bulkhead between the cars is what he's referring to.
That's fine, but on the end car, I'm just...
No, you won't.
No, you have a regular end.
Okay.
We don't use the word articulated because articulated means something specific, but in an articulated bus, you can walk from one part of the bus to another, but under that articulation is generally on a train car, a truck. And in this particular case, you don't have a truck, you just have the ends, the normal ends of the car. But you would be enclosed, and you'd have a sill plate that would keep you from getting pinched.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, if that's all for John, then we'll now move on to the Signal and Train Control Division report, and that'll be presented by Nidesh Patel.
Okay, good afternoon. I'm Nidesh Patel, and today I will brief you on the status of several projects in the Signal and Train Control Division. My presentation includes 4 CBTC projects: Flushing Line, QBL Line, Culver, and 8th Avenue, and a project to qualify a 3rd CBTC supplier. In addition, I will also update you on the Integrated Service Information and Management ISIM Module 1 and Module 3 project. And some of my interlog projects are also part of this presentation. The CBTC Flushing Line contract was awarded to Thales in June 2010. Project overlays a new CBTC system on the Flushing Line from Main Street to 34th Street Terminal, and also modernized 2 interlocking 1st Avenue and Times Square. This contract also equipped 46 trains with the CBTC equipment. Trains are procured and modified under a separate contract with Kawasaki.
Before you leave that slide, the next time you make it, you're going to want to make the 52nd Street station Lincoln Avenue, not Lincoln Street.
Okay. Yeah.
We deliberately put things in presentations to see if you catch them, Andrew. That's a joke.
So the contract schedule has slipped from 3rd quarter 2017 to the 4th quarter 2017. There are various reasons, but the main reason is that we found various anomalies in CBTC software, resulting in delays to place CBTC in service from Main Street to 74th Street. This delay caused us to revise the testing and in-service plan for the rest of the line. On the cost side, the budget modification adding approximately $25 million is underway. A lot of progress has been made. Some of the highlights are CBTC equipment installation into the trains are ongoing, and train operator training is also ongoing. For the next 6-month look ahead, CBTC will go in service from Main Street to 74th Street, and training to the operator will continue, and the CBTC equipment installation in the train will continue. This is the current revised CBTC cutover plan. CBTC system will provide the capability to add at least 2 more trains by the end of 2017. Next slide. There are 4 critical issues or activity we are monitoring closely to maintain the current schedule. Project team has developed a detailed plan for CBTC testing and commissioning and has identified all the needed track outage from now to 2017. Project team is working with the internal department to secure these outages. As I mentioned before, CBTC will be in service from Main Street to 74th Street by 3rd quarter 2016, subject to reliability and stable performance of the CBTC system. Beyond 74th Street, CBTC cutover require all the 46 trains equipped with the CBTC equipment. The Corona Car Shop is working very hard to complete all the installation on time to ensure CBTC cutover beyond 74th Street by March 2017.
So is there a schedule available for further GOs for you
Yes.
to do this?
Yeah, we develop all the GOs we need for testing, cutover, removal for end of this year up to the end of 17. All the GOs are being discussed with the operation planning and RTO. So they are all aware of it. Right now we have a confirmation for all the 16 and also 17 GOs.
And further, if you cut over Main Street to 74th Street and make that CBTC usable, you can't run more trains just in that section because you have to have it for the entire line. Otherwise you're trying to shove too much into a...
I agree. That's why I said that we will be able to add more train at end of 2017 once we cut
once
over
it's all the way to Hudson
all
Yards.
the way down.
Yeah.
actually, once you put the signal system in, you'll be able to run trains closer together, so you will get an additional, but you don't get the full benefit of it until the entire line is done. Right.
Next slide is a culvert line CBTC integrated test facility. The next project has been awarded to Siemens Thales Consortium in the September 2011. This project provides a final CBTC interface and interoperable specification, an integrated test facility at 2 Broadway, an integrated test facility on the test track on track B3 from Church Avenue to 7th Avenue on the culvert line, and 2 proven interoperable CBTC system supplier. An integrated test facility and culvert test track will be utilized to qualify additional CBTC supplier also. In addition, it also provides a new speed measurement system we call DGMU for the Canarsie line. DGMU system replaced the existing optical speed measurement system, Osmos. Substantial completion has been achieved on December 2015. Project is within the budget. More DGMU trains have been placed in service as planned, and this will be my last report on this project. This contract has been awarded to Mitsubishi in September 2015. This contractor will use the CBTC integrated test facility, including the culvert test track, to demonstrate to NYCT that their CBTC system meets our interoperability and interface specification. Successful completion of this contract will give us a third CBTC qualified supplier. At this time, the contract is on schedule and within budget. In the progress, we have 15 documents have been submitted, and in the next 6 months, we hoping to declare preliminary design completed. The area of concern, we are actually concerned about the Mitsubishi level of achievement on the carbon controller design and zone controller design, and also their projected reuse of the software and the compliance of the interoperability interface specification. Contractor is assuring us that they increasing their qualified staff and accelerating certain activity to ensure the timely completion of the contract. The CBTC Queens Boulevard line, design and furnish. This contract has been awarded to Siemens and Thales in August 2015. Under this contract, CBTC will be deployed on E, F, M, and R line as shown in the map. And we're going to also equip R100, R160 unit with the CBTC equipment. The contract is on schedule and within budget. A lot of progress has been made. Some of the example, radio layout has been completed by the Siemens, and the CBTC car equipment repackaging conceptual design also completed by Thales. For the next 6 months, Siemens and Thales is to complete preliminary site-specific CBTC design, and Thales to complete detailed design of the car equipment repackaging. There are 3 areas of concern. Award of the installation contract by August 2016 to maintain the current schedule of the CBTC overall contract. We are opening the bid soon, so we should meet the goal. All the trains need to be equipped by June 2020 to maintain the CBTC overall cutover plan. And the third item is, as like John mentioned, that we also ensuring that all the TA services assigned for or planned for these contracts are available so we can go in service as planned. The next slide. The CBTC Queens Boulevard line installer contract. This contract is in procurement phase, and a future contractor will install all the CBTC equipment except the car equipment and support CBTC testing in addition to performing all the conventional signaling work. Contract bid opening is scheduled for August 4th, and award will follow. Delays of the contract are due to the contractor requiring more time to finalize their current bid. I just added a picture of the control tower, which could be a rail control center or a local tower or a master tower. A relay room and the equipment goes into the wayside to give you the picture of what interlocking is all about. And most of the interlocking project, I'm going to talk about it. The two interlocking Union Turnpike and 71st Avenue QBL, substantial completion originally scheduled for April 2017, is now projected for fourth quarter 2017. Delay by 1 quarter since my last report. Contract is within the budget. Because of the delays to this project, a coordination between this contractor and the installer contractor for CBTC is become essential, and we're going to monitor that. ICMB Module 1, this contract has been awarded to Yanker Electric in November 2015, and the contract is on schedule and within budget. Integrated Service Information and Management, ICMB Module 3, contract is in a procurement phase. Award is scheduled for second quarter 2017, delayed by 1 quarter for the following reason. We do anticipate a longer technical negotiation with the selected contractor to address interface and integration with the QBL ATS contract, functional and system requirement, including the overlapping function between the QBL ATS and this contract.
Question. Will ISIMB have the ability to differentiate if there's multiple trains on a line?
I'm sorry, repeat the question.
Will it be able to differentiate if there's multiple trains on a line? I believe it is.
Yeah, it is. Once you add the schedule.
It provides the same functionality that ATS does on the A division.
Oh, it will?
Yes.
Oh, so it won't just know that a train is coming in a certain amount of time, it'll know which train?
Right.
Yeah, that's correct, because we're
that's
adding a train schedule at the terminal, and that's why the design of the QBL ATS and ICMB address that issue.
Sure.
So does that mean that the, for want of a better term, countdown clock will show the same information on the A and B divisions?
The QBL ATS, between QBL ATS and ICMB Module 3, that information will be available starting June 2020.
Looking at ways to be able to separate out from ICMB the delivery of countdown clock information for the B division on a faster time frame. The idea is to provide the same level of functionality. It may not be the same exact display that what you see in the A division right now, but it would be train information and estimated arrival time, minutes to platform. But we're looking to see if there are ways we could provide the countdown clock piece of it in advance of ICMB. ICMB's primary purpose from the get-go was to enable the control center to have automatic train supervision like they have on the A division right now, rather than decentralized control across all the towers, master towers.
I think the next slide, I think, will give you the, I'll go back. Interim train arrival information. So there is a good news here. All the work on Concourse Line, Western Line, and Sea Beach Line at the location I gave it to them on the slide has been completed, and the mobile application will be up and running in August. So the people will be able to see where the trains are. The 34th Street interlocking project has been awarded to TC Electric in April 2014. This is where we're replacing the relay room interlocking to the SSI, solid state interlocking. The project is 35% complete, it's on schedule and within budget. The one area of concern is that we need all the plant TA services to maintain the current schedule. The next project is West 4th Street interlocking. The contract has been awarded to TC Electric in July 2014. Project is 23% complete, on schedule, within budget. And same area of concern like 34th Street, we need all the TS services to ensure the timely completion of the contract. I will end my presentation here. All the remaining projects in the presentation are for your information, and no major concern to discuss unless you have any question.
If you'll see here, this is the result of some work that was done years ago in terms of how we could deliver the communication-based train control faster, where we separate out the modernization of the interlocking plants where it was warranted in advance of the overlay of the CBTC, and that's why you see the projects portrayed this way.
When we're done with CBTC, take the number 7 line, for example. When it's done the entire length, as Andrew said, how many more trains will we be able to run every hour?
Minimum 2 more trains will be here per hour.
2 more?
Yeah.
Thank you.
On Canarsie, we were able to go up once we get the substation in 4 trains?
Yeah, we can add more trains.
4 trains.
On the 7 line, you go from 3 tracks, between 33rd Street and Queensboro Plaza to 2 tracks, and so
tracks.
that you're limited all the way to 34th.
Any further questions from the dish? If not, we'll have a very familiar face deliver the independent engineer's review. Mr. Nabil Ghali. Great to see
Good
you.
afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board.
Nabil and I started out in the CBTC effort back in, not that I remember the year, 1990.
Early 90s, that's correct.
Early
yeah.
90s, so thank you.
Sure.
Yes, not that I remember.
Yeah. My name is Nabil Ghali, and I will present the IEC's observations and issues related to the NYCT Signal and Train Control Program. Starting with the Flushing Lines CBTC project, we do agree that more time is needed to demonstrate the stability of CBTC software. This is driven by the additional time used for shadow mode testing. As a result, it is necessary to delay substantial completion to the fourth quarter of 2017. With respect to project budget, the current budget reflects in-house support costs based on third quarter 2017 substantial completion. Additional funds may be required due to the anticipated delay in substantial completion to the fourth quarter of 2017, as well as to carry the project to final completion. Next slide, please. With respect to project critical issues, we previously reported to the board that the critical path is driven by car equipment installation and the cutover of various line sections to CBTC operation. The project team has implemented a plan to complete fleet installation work in time for CBTC operation, so we don't believe at this time that fleet installation work is on the critical path. On the other hand, as was reported earlier, shadow mode operation, or shadow mode testing rather, has been delayed several months to demonstrate the stability of CBTC software. In turn, the in-service dates for Section 1, which is between Main Street and 111th Street, and Section 2, between 111th Street and 74th Street, are delayed. We are concerned that based on the current performance of CBTC system testing, achieving the in-service dates for these 2 sections in the third quarter of 2016 will be challenging. Next page. As reported by the project team, the Culver Line CBTC Integrated Test Facility project has achieved substantial completion, and there are no issues related to the budget. With respect to the Queens Boulevard Line CBTC Design and Furnish project, the contractor is progressing the design documents, and the IEC concurs that this project is on schedule and within budget. With respect to the installation project for the Queens Boulevard CBTC. The closing date for receiving bids was delayed by 3 months, and the budget needs to be confirmed once the project is awarded. So looking at the CBTC QBL program that includes the design, furnish project and the installation project, we do agree that the award date for the install project is now on the critical path for the program. We are concerned that additional work orders may be required to finalize the interfaces between the ISMB Module 3 system and the automatic train supervision element of the CBTC system. We do agree that the ISMB Module 1 project is progressing on schedule and within budget. With respect to Module 3 of the ISM program, this project has a high level of complexity as it interfaces with CBTC as well as existing legacy systems. As a result, we are monitoring the project risks earlier in the process in advance of a planned risk assessment. Lastly, with respect to the various interlocking projects, as reported by the project team, the listed interlocking projects achieved a green reporting status in the traffic light report presented to the board in June. These include the 34th Street interlocking, West 4th Street interlocking, Roosevelt Avenue interlocking, and Dyer Avenue line signals. However, the IEC is concerned that the additional slippage reported for Union Turnpike and 71st Avenue interlockings could have an impact on the CBTC QBL installation contract. This concludes the IEC's briefing. I'll be happy to take any questions.
Bill? Okay, if not, then we'll move on to the next presentation. Anil Parikh, Second Avenue Subway, and the independent engineer. Ken Haggis.
Good afternoon. Critical milestone and issues on 63rd Street Station. Level 3 and 4 testing is complete for all the items except 3 of the 6 rooms in which the energy system must be tested. Level 3 and 4 testing is complete for tunnel and station smoke management systems, fans, HVAC, fire life suppression system, elevators and escalators. There is no impact to RST. Level 5 testing is scheduled to be completed by August 15th. Next slide, please. 72nd Street Station. Tunnel and station smoke management system and HVAC installation was completed on June 20th, 2016. Water mist system installation will be completed by July 31st. The delay in completing the installation of the water mist system in the traction power substation room is due to the conflict in the work coordination between the station and the system contractors. There is no impact to the revenue service date. Level 3 and 4 testing for the TSSM, HVAC, and fire life safety is on target to be completed by August 31st, 2016. Level 5 testing for the TSSM and fire life safety will be completed by September 30th. HVAC testing has been delayed by fire alarm installation and testing, which will be completed by October 30th. There is no impact to revenue service date. Next slide. Escalator installation and testing, except escalators at entrance 1, is on target to be completed by September 30th. Entrance 1 escalator is on target to be completed by October 28th. Entrance 1 escalators level 3, 4, and 5 testing is on target to be completed by November 30th. Platform to mezzanine elevator installation is delayed is the result of a delay in fabrication of the elevator cap. Cap delivery has been expedited and contractor will be working additional shift to make up the lost time and mitigate the delay. Installation and testing is expected to be completed by October 30th. There is a potential impact to the RSD if we don't get the cap delivery that is currently scheduled. There are 5 elevators at entrance 3. Entrance 3 elevator installation is delayed as a result of delay in fabrication of the 3 elevator caps, and it may cause target date to slip. Cap delivery has been expedited and the contractor will be working additional shift to make up the lost time and mitigate the delay. There is a potential impact to revenue service date. Total of 5 elevators, which is at entrance 3, testing will be delayed for the same reasons I described before. Next slide, please. 86 station. There are 13 escalators at this station, and installation will be completed by July 31st. There are 2 elevators at this station, and installation will be completed by July 31st. Next, TSSM, HVAC, and fire life safety system was completed on June 17, 2016. Level 3 and 4 testing for all station systems will be completed by August 15, except elevators and escalators, I'm sorry. Level 3 and 4 testing for elevators and escalators will be completed by August 30th. There is no impact to revenue service date. Level 5 testing for the TSSM and fire life safety will be completed by September 30th. HVAC testing has been delayed by fire alarm installation and testing, which will be completed by October 30th, and there is no impact to revenue service date. Next slide. 96 station. Escalator installation is delayed. Contractor received the escalator scheme last week and is process of installing it. This work will be completed by July 25th. I don't have the confirmation as of today, but we expect that to be completed, and there is no impact to revenue service date. Elevator installation is scheduled to be completed by end of July. TSSM installation was completed on June 17th, and HVAC and fire life safety system installation was completed on June 30th. Level 3 and 4 testing will be completed by end of August. The delay was due to the late installation of TSSM, HVAC, and fire life systems. There is no impact to revenue service date. Level 5 testing will be completed by September 30th. The delay is due to the late completion of level 3 and 4 testing. Next slide, please. Systems contract. Communication system installation and level 4 testing will be delayed due to the incomplete installation of conduit work by the station contractors. To mitigate the delay, the station contractors was directed to add resources to complete the conduit installation. Systems contractor was also directed as well to complete/correct the conduit installation, and systems contractor has been working 2 shifts at all stations with added resources. There is a potential impact to revenue service date. Conduit installation at 63rd Street is completed, and level 3 and 4 testing is ongoing. Level 5 testing for the communication system will be completed by October 30th. The delay is due to the incomplete conduit installation by the station contractors. The police radio system installation and testing is on target to be completed by October 15th. Next slide, please. Traction power energization is delayed due to the slow progress by the station contractor in traction power substation installation, equipment installation at 72nd Station. Traction power energization at 96th Street actually happened over the weekend, actually last Friday. So we have traction power energized at 96 station. Installation of 86 station is complete, and we are going through the final inspection by Con Edison. Signal installation and level 3 and 4 testing was completed on July 11th. Next slide. Summary of the critical items. Installation and testing of communication systems elements such as fire alarms are delayed because of the station contractors have not completed required conduit installation. To mitigate the delay, system contractor was directed to complete the remaining conduit installation. Level 3 and 4 testing for the HVAC, TSSM, fire suppression system, elevators, and escalators started slow due to the delayed installation of these systems. To mitigate, we are working with the contractor and New York City Transit to prioritize the testing needed for revenue, training, and revenue service. The latest schedule update supports the December 2016 revenue service date. Thank you.
So let me get this straight. If I got this straight, the station contractor did not do his job.
That is
And as
correct.
a result of that, we've told the systems contractor, who comes in after the station contractor, to do the job that the station contractor did not do.
That is correct.
Okay.
And we are keeping
We're keeping a financial track of who did what to whom.
right. Yes.
And a timing of who did what to whom.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I got the point.
No, you got the point. And there's no question about the competency of the systems contractor being able to do that work. We've just added that scope to his work because he didn't have it before.
Correct.
Okay.
It's better than waiting for the other, if we're
Yes.
all aimed at the objective of getting it done on time, it makes more sense to do that than just
That there is no
continue to-
doubt. I just wanted,
Yeah.
but the two contractors are different contractors.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Any other questions? If not, the independent engineers report, Ken Haggis.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Let me start my monthly update with the budget review. The project cost contingency was reduced to $32 million. This reduction doesn't include pending capital reestimates of their soft costs for construction management and engineering support. Last month's construction expenditures have increased again, this time to $59 million, which is above the average of $46 million we calculate is needed to support the schedule to complete all the remaining work by December. Turning to the schedule, in our review of the progress on the schedule in June, we have several concerns, mostly to do with the milestones and the test program results. Starting with schedule milestones, 2 out of 8 of the schedule milestones due in June will meet their target date within 30 days, grace period allowed. The overall schedule milestone completion through the end of June is 23 out of 33. That's 70%, which is less than the 80% reported last month for the milestones that were due through May. Delay in the provision of the communications infrastructure was the primary cause of the disappointing performance in June. Secondly, the test program has slipped further behind the schedule for test completion. Out of a total of just over 600 tests scheduled through the end of June, 336 are reported complete. That's 55%, which is a reduction in the 67% of scheduled tests completed through the end of May. Somewhat as a consequence of this, we note that capital has postponed the scheduled start of the pre-revenue operations training for New York City Transit by 30 days to October 1st. In looking at the schedule, based on the project's reports and our own field observations of the station construction program, we find that the project is not on schedule and has fallen further behind schedule in the month since our last report to you in June. We feel the project team now needs to implement and maintain a revised schedule for the completion of the testing program and for meeting the revenue service date. Looking at the risk to the schedule with 5 months to go, the IEC believes these issues pose a significant risk to project completion. The pace of the testing program, the rate of test completions needs to be substantially increased over that achieved in June. The installation of the communication systems contractor needs to recover the delays to the installation that were certainly in part caused by the station contractor's work. Backlog of final changes, those quickened execution of the last-minute alterations to station system layouts that we noted in June, that effort has to continue at the same pace. And finally, station room inspections. The closeout of final inspections of all rooms and spaces is becoming critical for project completion. That's my report, Mr. Chairman.
Any comments or questions? Okay. Thank you very much. Capital Program Status Report, Craig Stewart.
I will present the 2016 commitment and completion goals and performance highlights through June, starting on page 62 in your electronic version. Commitments. In 2016, agencies plan to award 41 major projects. To date, 16 major commitments were planned. 10 were achieved, with 6 on time, 2 early, and 2 delayed. 6 others remain delayed. In addition, 3 other major projects were awarded early. Year-to-date, agencies have committed $2.3 billion versus a $2.7 billion goal. By year's end, the MTA forecast meeting or exceeding its $6.6 billion goal. Completions. In 2016, agencies plan to complete 43 major projects. To date, 14 major completions were planned, 11 were completed on time, and 3 were delayed, but have since been completed. In addition, 2 forecast major projects were completed early. Year-to-date, agencies have completed $1.4 billion versus $1.2 billion goal. By year's end, the MTA forecast meeting or achieving its annual completion goal of $4.6 billion. This is the end of my report. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions regarding the status report? If not, that concludes the business for the monthly CPOC meeting. May I have a motion to adjourn? Second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you very much.